So, what is Battletoads?
It's just video game review!
Okay, last week Harley and I reviewed Ultra Enviroman.
Whack to the curb.
It has got to go. So today, we're gonna take a look at Battletoads.
Rocket!
That it is, I mean, they got Psycho Pigs and Turbo Thwacking.
And with kick fighting, surfing, babe saving,
how can you go wrong? Your kid's a freak for Battletoads and these other games from Trade West, Nintendo Entertainment, or Game Boy systems required.
Pain! That's what Battletoads is. Pain! Battletoads was released in 1991 by Rare for the NES and then was ported to the Mega Drive, Game Gear, and Amiga systems in the following years. This is the first game in the Battletoads franchise before they got buddy-buddy with the Double Dragon duo, and the first to establish that this series really hates the player. You control two of the Battletoads, Rash and Zitz, as they work across 12 controller-breaking levels to save their friends, Pimple and Princess Angelica. This game is a beat-em-up at its core, but these beat-em-up levels are broken up with various genre-changing situations, such as scaling a giant tree down or riding a turbo bike. The combat is pretty simple. One button attacks and another jumps. You have your simple strikes that you can spam, but enemies will not be defeated until you hit them with a smash attack in which your limbs get comically large to finish your opponent off. This happens automatically when the enemy is vulnerable, so don't panic thinking you need to learn something new. Your attacks change based on what position your character and the enemy you are fighting is in. So whether you are rushing an opponent or pounding their heads down, you get a new animation to show them get demolished. Weapons can also be picked up, though these just function as a stronger regular hit and no ending smash. Battling is simple enough, and honestly not too difficult in general. No, the difficulty comes from the different types of gameplay modes that you have to get past. The turbo bike level in general is the wall that has prevented many gamers from progressing onto the rest of the game, and it's only level 3. In this level, after a short beat 'em up section, you hop on a bike and must avoid fast approaching walls that will cause you to lose a life instantly. This section goes on forever, and you must memorize the patterns to get to the next checkpoint before you lose all of your lives, and by extension, all of your continues, because once they're gone, it's back to the first level. There exist warp points in very specific areas in some levels that allow you to skip ahead in some instances, but they are very specific about timing in order to use them. When you get past the turbo bike level, you might think you've gotten over the hump, but no, it's just the start of the torment. Further levels will use the same fast horizontal scrolling action, but will challenge you to avoid other obstacles like mines, electric barriers, and whirlpools, which like before, will take away a life in one hit. In addition to that fun, you also have levels where you must travel on top of a hostile snakes to avoid spikes, race against a cheating rat to disarm bombs, and travel up the trap-filled vertical labyrinth. All of this sounds nuts, and it is indeed nuts in practice. Getting through this game requires a lot of trial and error, so don't feel bad if you find yourself seeing the game over screen more often than not. I'm not overselling this. This game will test your patience. If it was just the beat 'em up sections, it wouldn't be as bad, but all of the horizontal scrolling sections especially gatekeep seeing the rest of the game from players. And don't even get me started on 2-player mode. Yes, there exists multiplayer in this game, but unless you are in the market for enemy for life, do not play this with a friend. Characters can hit each other and knock each other off cliffs on accident, and if one player game's over, then both get sent back to the beginning of the level, with the surviving player not regaining their lost lives, leading to possibly a very heated conversation. It's just not worth it, especially in the Clinger Winger level, where due to a glitch, it's literally impossible to play with 2 players. Just tell your friend to wait their turn while you die instead. Although it may be lost in a blur due to gameplay sections, the graphics are actually very impressive for an NES game. All of the characters in foreground are distinct from the background, and although it's hard to see, the fast-paced sections are animated really well. Ditto goes from the soundtrack, which although low-key, has inspired many different themes that have stood the test of time. The Battletoads theme in particular has held up as a distinct tune that has been attached to the franchise ever since. But at the end of the day, this game is known for its difficulty, and at the end is hurt by its difficulty. This will probably affect your overall enjoyment of the game, and possibly the stress ball that you'll need at the end of this playthrough. But if you're looking for a challenge to drive yourself mad over, look no further than this absolute abomination. This game gets 3 temper tantrums out of 5. Yes! Is that it? Did we do it? Oh, she's leaving. Part 2. Let's go.